High noon, Jones and Keefe, WEEI, every Wednesday at high noon. You know what time it is. It's time for Pure Hoops with Justin Turpin from WEEI, and apparently also Nesson TV. We got TV Turp with us here, Keefe.
TV Turp, unbelievable.
How'd that go?
How things have changed.
Our little Turp is going just big time all of a sudden.
It's much nicer to be able to wear a hat and sweatpants or whatever.
Agreed.
Here, which that part of it's nice, but it's
way
cool.
more comfortable.
It was fun.
Here.
I came into work the other day. I go, it's business Turp. I thought he had Celtics press conference, Celtics practice. I didn't know what it was.
Something's going on.
And he didn't even tell. I came from television.
He's a humble man.
He didn't want to get hit with the brag of the week.
That's exactly what it was.
You didn't want to get hit with a real life brag of the week. That's what it was.
Ken came screaming down the hallway. He's like, Turp was on TV. Turp was on TV. I was like, all right.
TV Turp.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to tell you, Turp's going places.
That's right.
He's here every Wednesday at high noon with the latest on the Celtics. Now, Turp, you told us to wait it out. Wait out the first 7 games of the year.
Could be a slow start.
It's going to be a slow start for the Celtics. Wait for the win total to drop. Go bet the over on the win total after the first 7 games, I think the number was. I know you expected a slow start. Did you expect it to be this slow?
I mean, I think it's gone kind of as expected, right? They're hanging in there with the bad teams, the teams that they should, and they're not really hanging in with the good teams like New York. I mean, that game, aside from the second quarter, was probably a little closer than I thought it would have been. Like, New York's a better team. They're an Eastern Conference NBA Finals contender. The Celtics aren't. I mean, the Sixers, we don't really know what to expect with that team. And turns out they might be better than we expected going into the year at 4-0 now. And VJ Edgecomb's been great. Tyrese Maxey's been great. So they held around on that one. So I think it's been kind of as expected. It just hasn't been pretty. I think the rebounding has been the big thing where it's like, whoa, like we knew this was going to be an issue, but we didn't think it was going to be this big of an issue.
How do you think Mazzulla's dealing with everything so far?
I mean, so far, so good. I think I think he's giving the right messaging for this team, that they're still figuring it out. And it's true. I mean, part of it, the talent drain. We've been talking about that since June, like how much talent they lost. Like, that's just the reality of it. And it's guys in elevated roles playing with new faces. Like, there's 8 new faces on this team. Like, that's a lot. And it's going to take time. It's not going to be something that happens overnight, especially with the schedule that they're playing.
It's the opposite of the Patriots. The Patriots got rid of all their bad players and brought in good players. The Celtics got rid of all their good players, with the exception of 2, and then brought in a bunch of guys that are like average.
Yeah. I mean, look,
not great.
I like the lawnmower. I'd say more than most.
Sure you do.
Don't think that guy should be starting for an NBA team.
No.
As good as he looked the other night. But no, just circling back to their start, Turp, you say as expected. Well, the Knicks are better.
Right.
The Pistons might be better.
They're bigger.
Fine.
And are better.
Nice.
But usually 1-1.
And I know the Sixers are undefeated. And I think is it just them and OKC? I think those might be the only 2 remaining undefeated teams. So maybe the Sixers are just better than I thought. That's the game that I guess really bothers me.
And the Bulls and the Spurs.
Out of the start. Oh, they're also undefeated. Yeah. Okay, so I take that back.
How the Bulls are 3-0
Didn't realize that. Maybe they're the 2 undefeated teams that won last night. But anyways, regardless, the Sixers' loss still bothers me because of the way that went down. It's a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter. They led the Pistons early, but it was early, and Detroit might be better. I still don't think that about Philly, and if you are worse than Philly, and they're just a good team this year, well, then I way overrated this Celtics team. So I guess out of the first 4 games, that's still the one that bothers me.
Yeah, I'm with you. That Philly game's one that they should have won. And, this team is not in the position where they can be giving away wins. I mean, that's just the reality. They're going to be hard to come by. I still think, and I think we were all on the same page, that they can win north of 40, but they can't be giving away games like that, especially when Embiid was useless. I mean, the guy was a ghost out there. He didn't even play in the fourth quarter, and you let 2 guys explode for 70-plus points, and you get killed on the offensive glass. You turn the ball over. I mean, it was just losing basketball. So, yeah, it's definitely right to be frustrated about that one because, again, this team's just not in the position to be giving away games.
Payton Pritchard last year, obviously 6th man of the year, shot 40% from 3. He's now starting. He's taking more shots as we all expected him to take. He's not shooting well right now. It's only 4 games, but he's not shooting well from 3. Should he stay in the starting lineup? I've always wanted him to come off the bench and stay coming off the bench. What do you do with him, and what do you make of his start?
Yeah, I'd probably take a little bit more of a patient approach with him. I mean, one, because he's earned it. He's earned the opportunity to start, or at least have the chance to start, and I don't think that's something you start thinking about taking away from him after 4 games. And second of all, he's been doing other things besides the scoring, which is going to increase, right? I think he's just missing open shots. Like most of these shots that he's missing are ones that he makes. But he's also second in rebounds behind only Miyashketa, tied with Jaylen Brown, and he leads the team in assists. So people are going to get caught up on the shooting because obviously that's the most important aspect of his game is his shooting, and they need him to be better in that regard. But he's been doing other things. So I'd be a little bit more patient, wouldn't be rushing him out of the starting lineup up after just 4 games.
Do you think there's a point in the year where they start Simons to pump up the trade value? Because, again, the main thing they've done this year is they've cut payroll. Simons, as you've told us before, is probably the contract that stands out more so than Hauser, that would get them to dip below not just the second apron, but below the luxury tax. So is there a point in time where they try to inflate his trade value by increasing his playing time or even starting him?
Possibly. I mean, I don't think they would do it just to increase the value. I think they would do it for the reasons that we saw the other night. The way he shot the ball in the fourth quarter.
Oh, he was great in that fourth quarter the other night.
When he's shooting like that, and that's what they're going to need from him. I mean, it's a tall ask, but he's definitely capable of it, right? He's made 200 threes in 2 of the last 3 years, was a 20-point-per-game scorer in Portland. Like, he's capable of shouldering that load. And you saw what it does to this offense when he's making those shots, or when anyone's making the shots, really. Like, that was the fourth quarter, the other night, was the first time this year that we really started to see, like, the Celtics of old with those threes that they're making. And that's the kind of the key to it. It's not a coincidence that they finally win the 3-point margin and they out-rebound their opponent and they win. I mean, that's what they're going to have to do on a nightly basis, and Anthony Simons is going to play a big role in that.
So real quick on the threes. I'm sorry, Keefe, but they are tied for second in 3-point attempts right now with New York, I believe. I was just looking this up. They're tied with New York. They trail Phoenix in 3-point attempts. They're 0.2 off the lead for most attempts in the NBA. Last year, they were far and away the team that attempted the most, 48.2. I'm not surprised they're still shooting a lot of threes. I guess I'm surprised they're still that skewed to the top of the league given their personnel. Agree or disagree?
I mean, I'm not really. I'm really not, because, I mean, it's kind of built for it, like Derrick White. I mean, what's he taking per game?
11. Is that it?
Sam Hauser.
Yeah. Honestly, it feels like more.
It does.
Sam Hauser almost 8. Simon 7.5. Pritchard 7. Jaylen Brown almost 6.
Fine, but also they're now playing.
No Tatum, no Horford, no Porzingis.
And Keita is not a guy who's going to step out and shoot threes. I mean, I know Minot's still shooting them. I'm not sure he should.
Garza popped a couple.
Garza's one who probably should be allowed to. But yeah, I guess I'm just surprised with their personnel. They're still jacking up that many threes.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fair thing. Like you said, like, I mean, they don't have a true stretch 5. Like, and that's kind of a big reason as to why you would have thought the numbers dropped a little bit. But, I mean, if the shot's there, if it's an open shot, they're going to take it. I mean, that's just their philosophy. So it doesn't matter really who it is. I mean, the shot it's expected to be taken if it's open. So I really don't expect them to waver in that regard. And especially when you're so top heavy and at that top, like the players that are at the top of that, that roster are great 3-point shooters. So I expect them to lean in on it.
Yeah, it's funny. Interesting 3-game stretch for the rookie, our show's rookie of the year, Hugo Gonzalez.
Yeah.
He plays well against the Knicks. He starts against the Pistons and then doesn't play against the Pelicans.
Or Philly.
Yeah, right.
So he's got 2 DNPs.
Yeah, he was going to the table.
But that was the debut. I mean, so he didn't play in the opener, which I'm like, okay,
right,
whatever.
No, I'm just saying his first 4 games, 2 DNPs, one he played well, and the other was a start. Yeah.
So has Mazzulla obviously maybe not even figured out what his role is going to be, or what should his role be?
Yeah, he hasn't figured out anyone's role, to be honest.
Maybe
I mean, like guys like Derrick White and Payton Pritchard, those guys, but beyond that, he doesn't really know what anyone's role is going to be. So he's been mixing and matching with the rotation to, figure out what he's got on this roster. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing is where they are deep is with their wings. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Josh Minot can compete and he can play. Same with Hugo Gonzalez, and Jaylen Brown and Sam Hauser obviously can. So the wings are pretty deep. So he's still kind of figuring out what they have. And I thought him starting in Detroit might have been kind of a message, right? He comes in New York, picks up Jalen Brunson full court on the first possession. He was hustling around everywhere, playing intense defense, and that's kind of what they're looking for, right? They're looking for that edge, for that swagger. That's what they're going to need to make up for the lack of talent on the roster. So I think he kind of sent a message in starting Hugo Gonzalez, and it's like, hey, all you guys on this roster, with the exception of the top guys, are fighting for what's next. They're all unproven, right? I mean, guys like Josh Minot, Luka Garza, Jordan Walsh, Baylor Schreiman, these guys are playing for what's next. They're playing for a spot in the NBA. And I think he sent a message to them by starting Hugo Gonzalez and saying, well, look, you can play if you bring the intensity and you bring the intangibles that we're looking for. So I think that was part of it. And Josh Minot brought that in the fourth quarter and against Detroit, and then he got a start. So I'm not really surprised by that.
I was just looking, somebody texted this. I didn't realize Derrick White is tied for the lead in 3-point attempts a game at 11.
Yeah, that's a big number.
It's him and Markkanen. That's ahead of LaMelo Ball, Steph Curry, Dylan Brooks, that's a lot of threes for Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, well, Dylan Brooks is going to cool off a little bit.
Yeah, more than Mac. I mean, more than anybody. I mean,
him in a 50-point game the other night.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So that's wild. That's way too many threes for him.
But I'm not surprised. Remember when Tatum went down last year in the playoffs? It just turned into Derrick White. Even before Tatum went down, actually, that playoff run, it was Derrick White was just launching threes. That's all he does.
I mean, I don't love that. And it honestly, it feels like more than 11 a night.
And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it feels like a lot of them are like pull-ups, too. They're not catch and shoot, which is part of the issue. And that's been another issue kind of with this team is that the ball hasn't really been moving a ton. It's not a surprise the other night that they have 20 assists and it's their first win of the year. That was the first time they cracked 20. Like, they're at their best when they're moving the ball and they're creating for others. But when you don't have Jason Tatum, you don't have Drew Holiday, you don't have Kristaps Porzingis, it's so much harder to create offense using each other that a lot of it is creating for yourself. And I think Derrick White's been kind of a casualty of that in percentages.
The playoff games last year without Tatum, I feel like kind of were a little foreshadowing of what we could see. Like, if the shots are falling, they're still a tough team to beat, right? Like, you got Jalen, you got a bunch of guys that can fill it up. But then there are nights where it doesn't, and it's like you're not going to be able to score other ways. You're not going to rebound very well, and then they got just the doors blown off of them. So I guess that could be a little concerning. At what point, we brought up the topic yesterday about, tanking for the Bruins, tanking for the Celtics. At what point, and I'm not there yet, to be clear, because I can't go from, hey, I think they can be the 6th seed to watching 4 games and then me punting on it. But, like, at what point does that become a realistic conversation where you're like, all right, maybe Hugo Gonzalez plays a little bit more, and maybe, like, Baylor Shireman plays a little bit more, and maybe Jaylen Brown can rest on this game? Like, at what point do you think you look at something like that?
Yeah, I think you start looking at towards, like, kind of the middle of the year. That's when you start having those type of conversations, but I really don't expect them to. I just don't look at this core and this coaching staff and this front office as one that's going to be like, okay, we're just going to lean in and embrace this. Like, I think they're going to go full in. I mean, ownership might with the luxury tax. I mean, we talked about that the other day. Because $12 million over.
And the only reason I ask, because if ownership tells them to do it,
then they have to. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Brad wanted to trade Porzingis and not re-sign Horford and trade Drew. Like, I don't think they wanted to do any of that. But when ownership says we're doing it, so fine. Maybe none of those guys are on board. What if ownership?
But I'd imagine, like, if they were to make a move to try to get under that, it would have to be Anthony Simons, and that wouldn't affect what you're doing with Jaylen Brown and Payton Pritchard and Derrick White, unless ownership steps in and Jaylen Brown, for whatever reason, come February, his hamstring starts barking again, and they shut him down for a couple weeks.
Maybe if there's a real injury there, then that's obvious. I mean, in 2007, Paul Pierce was hurt, but then it was like he probably could have come back, right? And then it was just like, all right, you're good, and then you kind of just sit out the rest of the season. But no, I don't want to go there yet. But you see them; they're 1-3, as Jones points out. The one win, no Zion, and not a great Pelicans team.
And for 3 quarters, they weren't looking that great.
No, they weren't. And then tonight, Cleveland. Like, I like Cleveland.
Tough one.
Cleveland's nasty. Celtics they're at home, but Cleveland's one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. I mean,
and they have a ton of size, which is
it's not a great matchup
for them. Yeah. And same with Houston on Saturday. They're one of the biggest teams in the league. So, I mean, we talked about it really from when the schedule came out, is how hard these opening couple weeks are going to be. And it makes it even difficult. Like, again, when you have so many new faces, you have different guys playing with different players, playing in different roles. It's a lot harder to kind of ease into that when you're playing some of the premier teams in the league. So that's been a problem for them. But after this stretch, it really does open up.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Houston and Cleveland, they might have a lot of size. They're also way more talented than the Celtics these days. So that's a new problem for them as well, which didn't used to be their problem, again, before the new owner got here. Do you think we're going to see, and we see it every year in the sport, like by the end of the year, once you're out of it, we see it every year. Specifically, though, with the buzz around this draft class, starting with DeBonsta, right, the kid from Brockton, Boozer's kid, and I forget the kid's name at Kansas, but there's 3 kids who are like top flight, can't miss, quote unquote, draft picks. Do you think league-wide, even independent of the Celtics, we see more teams trying to tank, go to the top of the lottery, go to the top of the draft because of this draft class?
100%. And you've seen it even in recent years, and the draft classes weren't even as strong. So, yeah, I think you definitely see that. And with this draft class already getting this much buzz in October, seems a little crazy that teams are already talking full-on tanks, and we haven't even reached Halloween yet. Like, some say that NBA shouldn't even start till November. So the fact that we're already having these conversations, I think, is pretty indicative of that, where, yeah, I think teams are going to go and try to get some of the top talent in this league. I mean, you could see how fast it can turn around if you can hit on one of those guys, especially in basketball. It can just change your trajectory. So, yeah, I can see teams doing that.
Friday's NBA Cup game, I believe.
It is.
You all
Nice.
jazzed up for that, Jones?
I mean,
a little Halloween NBA Cup?
Yes, I did. I'll be honest, that was not on my
Yeah,
radar. But yes,
Sixers.
yes, NBA Cup.
They could win. Now, in that one ESPN projection that they had, or the simulation where the Magic won the title,
Yep.
Celtics won the NBA Cup.
How about that?
Yeah.
I'll take that trade.
Something to play for. Banner.
I'll take that trade this year.
But it's getting crowded up there with all those banners. Make one for the in-season tournament. Not bad.
Didn't realize that.
I am interested to see if they put more stock into it. Last couple of years, they haven't been really interested in it. Obviously, they're going out and trying to win games, but and they've cared when it mattered. They've cared about the point differential. But I'm curious to see if they go really go for this thing this year and give them a chance to, as Joe Mazzulla would love, compete in a competitive environment and all that.
I think they should. You're not winning a title this year. I think you could still potentially. I want to ask you about Tatum coming up. I think you still potentially could go on a run if you figure things out and weather the storm until Tatum comes back in February, March, April. And now you have Tatum back on a team that's playing well. I still think you go on a run in the East. But, yeah, you should prioritize winning these games and winning in a competitive environment in the NBA Cup. I thought that with good teams in the past. Never mind with this team.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, one thing that we...
Wait, you do agree. So you like the NBA Cup.
No, I don't like the NBA Cup, but I'm saying, they should... Right now, your point about this, they should try to win games I'm in favor of.
Yeah.
But there also is a point, and I don't know, I might jump ship before the midway point of the season, but somewhere in, the 25-30 game... So you're jumping in front of your line a little bit to be all right.
Yeah.
Okay, at this point, because of the draft class, because of all right, you can't expect Tatum to come back and be the man. One thing I wanted to get Terp's take on, because this came out on Friday, so we haven't even had a chance to talk about it. Did you see Jaylen Brown's comments asking about the gambling stuff?
No. Oh, yes. Where he's like, we don't even get any of the money from it.
I was like, okay. So there's been a lot of examples of this. Jaylen Brown thinks he's so much smarter than he really is, and this is just the latest example of it. And he stepped into a lot of stuff. Remember with the things that he sharing on social media and his defense of Kyrie Irving. You're like, oh man, a guy I want to root for. You say a lot of dumb stuff. This didn't offend as many people as some of the things that he has said in the past.
No, but this
was just
wrong.
So stupid.
Yeah.
He basically said, for those that missed it, he was asked about the gambling stuff, and he's like, oh, well, when this was introduced a few years ago, I don't think they took the players into consideration. We don't benefit from any of the profits.
Aren't the profits split? Players and owners? Yeah.
Right. And then the salary cap keeps going up because of how much money you make.
50-50 it's split.
But, they were on the road for that. So you weren't there in that scrum, right, when he was answering that question? Yeah, but, that's just sort of an eye roll.
Especially for somebody so involved in the NBA.
I know,
that's part of it, too.
You might want to know about that.
I'm curious how much, and I'm sure not when the locker room is open and when you guys are in there, but how much the players are talking about what's going on with Terry Rozier. I mean, Brown was a teammate of Terry Rozier, so for some of these guys to be ugh, and they probably all know who's involved in what and who isn't, and I don't know, kind of got to be a strange time right now for these guys.
For the NBA at large.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a huge deal. I mean, you can't overstate that enough. You had a player blatantly throwing lines.
A player and a head coach tied up and all this stuff.
Sitting
correct,
head coach.
Right.
I mean, that's terrible.
Well, and what's the story that came out in the last 24 hours? Rozier owed
$8
million on taxes or something like that. They were going to foreclose on his home or condo or whatever it was in Miami.
Yeah.
And so why did he need to take a dive or tap out of a game? Because he's going to owe money. So these athletes, despite what they make, you go, oh, why are they chasing $100,000, this and that? Despite what they make, I mean, that's why.
Yep.
So, no, I mean, certainly a huge deal. Maybe we'll get some answers on that from some of the players coming up. He had his live stream last night, right?
Yeah, Jaylen did. Yeah, I saw
Twitch,
I saw
right?
clips of it. Yeah,
are we getting a new hairdo tonight?
I think he had a buzzer. I didn't watch it, to be honest, but I did see a clip that he called LeBron and asked for hairline advice, which is hilarious.
I didn't see that.
I meant to ask you about that. So has he been asked about that, or was this the joke yesterday for it? Because that's the other thing. He's got the Carlos Boozer hair going, where he's spray painting his head, and it's wiped off onto different players that he's played against.
Well, it certainly
the
happened
Knicks was ridiculous.
in the Knicks game.
I think the Pistons game it did too.
Debatable against the Pistons.
I
didn't.
What else could that have been?
Well, I see what looks like his fake hairline rubbing off on a shirt,
spray paint.
But in the Knicks game, it's not even a question that his head touched the other guy's jersey, and next thing you know, there's a big spot on his jersey.
Why is he doing that?
You don't think it's a good look?
Nope. No, I don't.
We have hair doctors we can line him up with.
Sure.
Turp, you should let him know. Let him know that. Just be like, hey.
Listen.
I work at WEEI.
Yeah.
I'm now TV Turp, but I work at WEEI.
We can probably get you a deal
to help you out.
Dr. Lepresti, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Couple ad
We got a
reads
business
for
card
Jalen
laying
Brown.
around here.
Say it again.
Do we have any business cards laying around here?
Probably. Yeah, bring one.
Oh, yeah, I'll take one tonight.
Ken's probably got some.
Yeah, I'll take one tonight.
Yeah, go
You
pass
add
it
him
down.
to the list. Wasn't Ninkovich one of those guys?
Yeah, you don't even ask a question. Yes. You don't
I-
even ask a
I'll
I'll
question.
just print out a read for you, Turpin. You can hand it to
All
him.
right, yeah, that works.
Just hand him a business card.
Next thing you know, off day, boom, he's getting the surgery. Wood Scowl, he watched
It's
Iron
only a
Man 1 and
couple
2, I
hours,
think. I heard the ad for it.
Yeah, what would Jalen
I
watch?
think Portnoy watched Braveheart.
Yeah.
The old ad.
What would Jalen watch? Some like pseudo-intellectual movie.
Some documentary.
Yeah, something like
He
that.
could theoretically go after a shoot around before a game.
Definitely.
It's a relatively
Bang
quick
that out,
procedure.
couple hours, you get
Yeah.
a brand new head of hair.
I think the hairline's a little sensitive after that, so I might want to try to time that up around
That's
a break.
true. You made it let it heal a little bit if you're Jalen. Whatever the hell he was doing with it.
Tobias, when you touch his hair, he's just like, ah! Well, anyway, Terp, good stuff.
Thank you, Turp.
All right.
Check him out here at high noon every Wednesday, Pure Hoops with Terp. And, of course, TV Terp. Keep an eye out for him on Nesson as well. Always good stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Justin M. Turpin. Let's get back to the Patriots. Some trades yesterday. Our thoughts on that right after Trending with Billy.